Hello, and welcome back to the Striha Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Parker Striha, and on today's episode, I am going to be predicting the entrance for this year's WWE Men's Royal Rumble match. I'm by no means a professional, but I do love talking about sports, so thank you for joining me. And just a quick disclaimer before I start, I'm not predicting the order that these superstars will be entering the match. I'm only predicting who will be in the match itself. And of the disclaimer, this is a different video for me. I have been a fan of professional wrestling, and WWE especially, for the better half of just over a decade, and I believe 13 or 14 years since I was a little boy. And I mean, it's kind of not something you talk about because people kind of talk down about it, but I figured it's something I enjoy watching, enjoy talking about, reading about, so I'm just going to make a video about it. The 2023 Royal Rumble is this Saturday as I'm recording, January 28th, and I figured why not make a video predicting who I think is going to be in the match, see how many I get right, and kind of just go from there. I'm hoping to make a couple more WWE themed or tailored videos in the future, just because it's something I enjoy talking about, and whether the videos are received well or not, or whether people enjoy listening to them or not, I just want to talk about stuff that I enjoy, and this is one of those. So, 15 superstars have already been announced for the match, so I'll name those guys, kind of talk about them as a group for a little bit, and then I'm going to be predicting the last 15 spots in the match. So, I'm not really going to go in depth on any of these superstars, just gonna kind of bring them up. And if I have anything to say about them, I'll say it about them. This is not going to be a very long video, just a couple predictions that I'm making, and I'll probably predict my winner at the end. So, the 15 superstars that have already been announced for this year's match are Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, Cody Rhodes, Omos, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Karrion Kross, Rey Mysterio, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, the United States Champion, Ricochet, Kofi Kingston, and Santos Escobar. None of these guys, other than Sheamus and Rey Mysterio and maybe Seth Rollins, have won a Royal Rumble match. So, they're all experienced in the match, but none of them have won it before other than those three. So, don't really have a lot to say about those guys. And now let's move into my predictions. Starting out, I have Dolph Ziggler, Montez Ford, Sami Zayn, The Miz, Dexter Lumis, Dominic Mysterio, Ludwig Kaiser, returning Robert Roode, who is coming back from an injury that he suffered, I believe, last year, Solo Sikoa, Mustafa Ali, Logan Paul, who is also returning from an injury that he sustained last year. Switchblade Jay White, who is making his WWE debut in the match, just like AJ Styles did in 2016. I'm not sure if he'll actually be in the match because I don't know exactly when his contract expires with New Japan Pro Wrestling. But if he is able to be in this match, I think the pop that he would get from the crowd would be amazing, just like it was for AJ Styles 7 years ago now. Wow, that feels weird to say. But he's only 30 years old, so he definitely would have a very long, bright future ahead of him in WWE if he does if he does make his debut in the Royal Rumble match. I have Carmelo Hayes, Cedric Alexander, and my last prediction, and probably the one that one of the ones I would make, that would make me the most excited, and this is going to be a shocker, but he wrestled last year at WrestleMania. It was his first real match in I don't know how many years. My last prediction, Texas native, Stone Cold Steve Austin, will be his first Royal Rumble in over 20 years. The Royal Rumble pay-per-view is in Texas. He's from Texas. A lot of speculation has been coming out about him potentially preparing for a big match or a couple matches here in the future, just from training videos and reports coming out that he's been offered a lot of money for a match or a couple matches in WWE. And I think if the timer runs out, the buzzer goes off, and then you hear that glass shattering to signal that he is coming out. That crowd is going to go nuts. The people watching from home on their streaming services are going to go nuts, because while he may be expected or kind of a name being thrown around, he still really isn't he's an expected, unexpected entrant into the match. I personally would go crazy. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, even though he was a big thing before I was born. I think he would definitely add a really cool, tough element to this match, and I would love to see him in the match. Now, my prediction for the winner, well, I would love it to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for Jay White, who I would also love to see win it. The two people in this match that I can really see winning are Sami Zayn. His whole storyline with the Bloodline, if he wins it, I think that would just really make everything interesting. He would be challenging Roman Reigns for either the WWE or Universal Championship, and I think that would just it would bring the storyline to an already higher level than it's at. And then the only other one that I think makes sense is Cody Rhodes, who last year came back to the WWE and he made it very clear that his purpose for coming back is he wants to win the WWE Championship. And just a couple months after coming back to the company, he tore his pec and has been out since. It's been announced that he's going to be returning in this match, and I think it would make sense to have him win this match to challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for one of those titles. Now, if he doesn't win, I still do think he will get a championship match at WrestleMania. It's just a matter of how that plays out in materializing. But as always, I'm your host, Parker Striha, and this has been the Striha Sports Podcast. Our random sport fact of the day is Daniel Bryan holds the record for the longest time spent in a Royal Rumble match, with 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 5 seconds. As always, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever a new video gets posted.